Greetings, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, we want to welcome you to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather to see the lectures and conferences and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today, Angel Ribo, coach for CEOs, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and host for Mindalia TV, is conducting an interview to Dwayne Klassen. Dwayne is the coach for men. He is a published author, a public speaker, and he is the founder of the Remarkable Men Project. Before starting, I want to remind you that if you want to help the world through Mindalia TV, there are a couple of things that you can do. Just by liking this video or leaving us a comment down below, you are helping us reach out to many people around the globe that can benefit from the content shared in our channel. Also, if you want to participate actively in this interview, you have the chat besides the screen in which you can enter the questions to our guest. Just please remember the format. You are going to be entering the word question in caps, then the place where you're seeing us from. After that, you're going to put the exact question that you want answered. And after the interview, our guest will be so kind to answer the question. Before starting, we want to just welcome you one more time. And without further ado, I'm going to leave you with Angel and with Mr. Dwayne. Angel?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mirna, for such a beautiful presentation and introduction. And I am super excited and thrilled today to have with us the one and only Dwayne Klassen. Dwayne, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Angel. Great to be on the show. Thank you so much. And it's awesome to see you again, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise, absolutely. So let's start strong, Dwayne. What's happening in the world with masculinity?
Wow, just right off the top, let's just go after it. Well, it's not one of these things where you can just kind of put it into a box. There's definitely has been a shift. And for all of you that are watching, you definitely can tell that there has been a shift in relationships. So it doesn't really matter if you're single or you're in a relationship or a long-term relationship, something is changing. And for a lot of guys right now, they're feeling like they're lost, they're confused, and they're frustrated about what it means to be a man in today's world. And conversely, what's happening, Angel, is that women are feeling really empowered, like they're unstoppable. There's nothing they can't do. And it's a great thing. I mean, they've earned that right over, several, decades to get to that space. But what's happening now is the pendulum is swinging, and the two worlds between men and women are colliding like never before. And so masculinity is one of these things that's being pulled apart, or it's being identified in a number of different ways. And men are losing some of their masculinity for a much more kinder, gentler, feminine energy. And for the guys that that are listening, feminine energy isn't a bad thing. It's a very good thing. And we have feminine energy in us. And for men, when feminine energy is in us, it's when we're communicating, it's when we're nurturing, it's when we're compassionate, we're heart-centered when we're in our feminine energy. But when a man in particular goes too far into his feminine energy, he could be very indecisive, and he could be very much into his emotions to the point where it's not attractive anymore. And so I really wanted this to be one of these, the topic that we can dive deep into, because I know a lot of men and a lot of women are experiencing this in real time. Especially if you're an empowered woman in your relationships, I'm sure you're recognizing that your man, or maybe the men you're dating, haven't shown up as powerfully or as strong as they need to show up for you, and for that respect and for that energy to be on point. And I know a lot of guys get into relationships and they're going, man, she is just a bear. She is just so on. She's just got so much energy, and I don't know how to deal with it anymore. So we're really in a very interesting time right now, Angel.
it's so fascinating. This subject is so fascinating. I would like to actually ask you, so that Mindalia TV's audience knows you a little bit better. When did you start this journey, and what triggered you personally to start this journey?
Well, I had what I call my perfect storm. And this goes back to about 2008, 2006 through to 2008, about an 18-month period. During that time, I had a very successful outdoor advertising company. And I ended up going through a really nasty battle with some crooked partners. Now, I won the company back, but it was destroyed. So there was nothing left really to save. But while that was happening, I found out my 7-year-old son from a previous relationship wasn't mine. And so I, as a man, was identified so much of who I was with what I did. I built this company up from the foundation up, and then it was just pulled out from under me. And then, I identified so much of who I was with being a dad. And then all of a sudden that is gone. Now, while that's happening, I'm also in my dream relationship with my goddess. We're engaged and things are great, but she is considered an alpha woman. She's a woman that was very strong, very focused, very beautiful, and playing at a very high level. And when I met her, Angel, I was at the top of my game. I was that alpha guy. And it took that strong energy for her to be attracted to me. So when my perfect storm occurred, I lost my mojo. I lost my sense of identity. And I did not know how to show up powerfully anymore for her. And so I knew she loved me, but I could feel the attraction slowly disappearing. And I went from my masculine energy into a more feminine energy because I thought that's what she wanted. And a lot of guys have this challenge as well. When things are going sideways, we become very passive. And that's what I was doing. I was going, yes, dear, whatever you want, dear. You pick the movie. No, you pick the restaurant. That's good. No, whatever you want, babe, is good for me. Because I knew I did not have the power anymore. So I became very passive. And, as great as it sounds on a Hallmark card or on a romance movie, it doesn't work. That's not what women want. What she wanted, Angel, was, honey, little black dress, 7 o'clock, get ready, we're going out. But I didn't know. And so the relationship actually devolved into a friend zone. And there's a number of other things. And I had to, because I was going through this battle in the courts and it got really nasty, I wanted to take that away from the family. She was raising 2 daughters and I didn't want them to be exposed to what I had to deal with. So I said, I will get my own place. But I also knew it was the beginning of the end. And sure enough, she ended up getting a great job back east, and it never was salvageable. So there I was. I had lost everything. And I just wanted to figure out how I could get my sense of self back. How could I get back to being the man I wanted to be? And the challenge was, Angel, is that when I looked for support, it was really difficult for me to find anything. And I thought it would be easy because I was surrounded by empowered women. And you probably seen this too, where there's a networking group or support organization for every aspect of a woman's life. It's out there. And I'm going, what do guys have? What's out there for guys? So it was very difficult to find that level of support. And when I finally did, it was as if it was like, hey, Dwayne, I know you're looking for a men's support group. I know a guy that knows a guy, and he knows this guy that belongs to this group. You should check it out. And so I did. And brother, it was like every cliche you could think about what a men's group might look like. And there it was. We're in a church basement. Now, they weren't affiliated with the church. It was just the basement they were renting out. And it was 12 guys in a circle, all of them miserable. All of them did not want to fix their story. All of them had a hate on for their exes or for women, and they wanted to stay in the drama. And I'm going, guys, do you not want to step up? Don't you want to change this? And I wasn't welcome anymore. So a few weeks later, I went to a men's weekend, and it was the most misogynistic experience of my life. So there was two extremes, that this is what men have. And so I knew that there was something missing. And a friend of mine said, why don't you do this? Why don't you become a catalyst for change? And in a previous life, I was a speaker, a trainer, and I had a seminar company. And quite frankly, the advertising company I had was very much putting me in my ego. And it got me away from my natural talents, my purpose, and my passion. And so I got why it all happened. I got it. And when I wrote my book, The Remarkable Man, that's when I realized that, oh my God, there is a global epidemic happening to men. It wasn't just happening to me, it was happening to men en masse around the world. Because as the research was coming through and I was talking to people, men were going, oh my God, Dwayne, that's exactly what I'm going through. How do I fix it? How do I change it? Or how do I be a champion in her life? And women were going, oh my God, that's my Harvey you're talking about. Sorry for all the Harveys listening, but the reality is, how does he amp it up? How do I get him back? So I knew I was onto something. And when the book came out, it was amazing. And I realized that coaching was something that I needed to do, and also creating an organization that allows a container for men to step into to help them be the champions to women that they need to be, a hero to their children, and of course being brothers to each other.
This is definitely a remarkable story. I mean, I was really listening every single detail that you were mentioning. It's an incredible story. And there's a couple of things, a couple of concepts I would like you to elaborate a little bit more, because I think they're very interesting. So, because you spoke about becoming passive, and also you talked about the feminine part of us as males, right? So, is there a real direct? Are those concepts the same? Do you necessarily stop being a remarkable man for increasing your feminine part? Do you become passive? How all those concepts play in the masculinity, or in the work that you are actually doing while coaching male?
And that's a great question. Excuse me. With how our to the next generation and how it's playing out right now, with the Me Too movement and you know, there's definitely a spike in what's happening to men and what's happening to women. So when a man is in his feminine energy, it's important to know that this is not a bad thing. So I do a graph in my talks and with my coaching and whatnot. And in the graph, it is masculine on one side and feminine on the other. So I want to make sure that you understand what masculinity represents, and that some people have this thing that we need to purge masculinity, because it's the reason why this world is so bad as it is. It's because of this masculine energy. And I get that. So I want to dial it back a little bit, because if we subscribe to the idea that everything is energy, so look at masculine and feminine energy. See them both as energy. We have been humanity, this world has been in a masculine vibration for thousands of years. And it needed to have that energy in order for us to procreate and build empires and build culture and build, you know, agriculture and all these things, that masculine energy was important. However, it was also the reason a lot of the wars happened and why women were subjugated the way they were. It's also important to understand that we are evolving. And so when I talk about the masculine energy, we are now moving into a feminine vibration. And these shifts don't happen just like that. They take decades for them to actually land and be a part of what we're doing. And we're moving out of what's called the egoic masculine. And this is that fight or flight. This is like, hey, I want to take you on, or you know, you pissed me off, or you bumped into me. I want to, you know, or, you know, it's violence against women. We're moving into what's called the authentic masculine. And that's what the remarkable man is all about. It's the authentic masculine. And so I want to just kind of differentiate what that looks like. So if we looked at our scale of 0 to 100, and at 100, we had the, say 80 to 100 was the egoic masculine. And so guys that are in this, you know, it's that bravado, it's ego, that douchebaggery, you know, it's, and it's an energy that's also immature because it's reactionary. It's very reactionary. But there's also places where that energy is important. It might be in times of emergency, times of, you know, in the military, in sports. Get her done, get her done. It's got to happen now. The floodwaters are coming. We need action. And being able to delegate and set up the teams, and this, everything's got to be done like clockwork. That's masculine energy that needs to be done at a very high level. So now let's go on. Let's go all the way to the 0 to say 40 in his feminine energy. And when I'm talking about feminine energy, it's the hetero energy. In the LGBTQ community, there's also masculine and feminine energy. These things, they play out in all sexual energies. Doesn't matter what orientation a person is, there are masculine and feminine energies. But for our sake, let's talk about the heterosexual energy as the feminine energy and masculine energy pertains to it. So when a heterosexual man is in his feminine to 0 to 40, this is where, yes, he's communicating. Yes, he's very nurturing. Absolutely. And he's very heart-centered, but he's also very much in his drama. And if something were to happen that was like, got to get it done now, or an emergency, there's also cowardly energy here as well. And it doesn't serve him. And it also does not serve him in a heterosexual relationship. Because as you know, women are now in their masculine energy a lot as well. So then let's move a little bit further and we get to 40 to about 60 in that range. This is where most men are today. And yes, we have almost balance. We're almost at this balance. However, it sounds all well and good. But this is where men are very indecisive. They don't know. And what's happening right now en masse is men are playing safe, especially in relationships. And what I mean by that is that they're playing safe to the point where she's got to be the decision maker. And when he's in this vibration, she doesn't know what, who are you right now? Are you going to be the man right now that I need desperately? Or are you going to be, oh, you're nurturing the kids again. Great. Awesome. Well done, Dad. I appreciate it. But how am I getting my needs met? So men in this place are also very much in this passive aggressive energy where we say, oh, no, that's fine, dear. No, you're good. No, I whatever you want. Meanwhile, he's just going, shh, I should have chose that instead of that. And I knew she was going to choose that, but she chose that. So he stews about it. And then she asks him, how you doing, babe? I'm good. No, I'm good. No, it's all good. Because he doesn't want to rock the boat. So that's the challenge that we're in right now, is that too many men are in this area. Now, the sweet spot is 60 to 80%. And what I mean by that is that he's about 70% in his masculine and he's about 30% in his feminine energy. This is actually the perfect ratio. And the reason being is because he's decisive, he's on point, he's strong and assertive in who he is, but he's also able to be heart-centered. He's also able to identify with emotion and know it's not wrong, but it doesn't consume him. He can do a deep dive and, babe, I'm hurting right now. Wow, I can't believe this trigger that I had today. And he can visit that and dive in, and she can nurture him from that place. And then he's popped up again. He's good. He's back in there. I got this, babe. I thank you for letting me, talk about that. I'm good. And now he can make decisions. Okay, hon, I'm making dinner tonight. It's happening. It's going down. And this is what we're having, and it's going to be awesome. And I know you love it too. So let's get it done. And this just allows her to soften. So now what happens, because he's in that energy, where does she get to go? Well, she gets to soften and go into her feminine energy. So the perfect ratio for women is 70% in her feminine, 30% in her masculine. And this allows her to be strong, aggressive in work and crushing it and being awesome in what she does. But it also allows her to just feel into the divine feminine vibration where a lot of her power comes from. And now she's able to serve herself and the people in her world in a way that just makes her come alive. But it's predicated on her man being able to help her get there, because she needs to feel safe. She needs to feel secure. And she needs to feel that protection, and that it's okay to drop her guard and just open up, whether that's nurturing or sexually, because women really need that safety to be able to open up and just blossom in that way for her partner. So that masculine energy, that feminine dance, it is a vital one, Angel. But once we get it, wow, it changes everything.
And that was exactly the question I had in my mind now. It is, do you think that men today are fully aware of this? And do you think that, or what makes them say, I have to stop this or continue with the conformity of being where they are today? What's your experience?
The quick answer is no. The reason being is that when we're in it, we have no clue that these energies are playing a role in our daily lives. To have that level of awareness, it just doesn't happen. So let's look at a family dynamic or a girlfriend, boyfriend. Maybe they're living together. Maybe they're married, and she's working, he's working. Now she comes home, and because work is a very masculine energy, she comes through that door, and because he's not in his masculine, she's got to carry it. So now she carries it. She's got nowhere to dump it. So she's still on point. She's still, babe, we got to do this, got to do this. And then because of how he's wired to pacify, but he doesn't know he's in his feminine. So he's in his feminine and he doesn't like it necessarily. But he's got nowhere to push it because she's in her masculine. So both of them are doing this unconscious dance, and they're frustrated because of it. So they argue about the bills. They argue about the chores. They argue about parenting styles. They argue about the in-laws, the dirty garage. All these things just flare up, and they don't know why they're so angry. And it's because they're in an energy that doesn't serve them. And they know unconsciously that it's not serving the relationship. And so these flare-ups happen. So what he needs to do is understand that, all right, she's coming home. I gotta be in my masculine. I gotta show up in my authentic masculine. Let me clarify. I'm gonna be in my authentic masculine. And you do this by, you know, looking around. What needs to get done? And guys, I want you to look at housework as a masculine energy. Yeah, it's because it's stuff that needs to get done. You know, housework is not women's work or feminine energy work. It's got to get done. So handle it. Be decisive. And you know she's going to come home and the place is a mess. Clean it up. Just get her done. Clean it up. So that's one thing that's out of her wheelhouse. The kids, they were brought home. You picked them up after soccer. It's great, you know, and you get them handled. Now, I know that sounds like feminine energy work to a lot of guys. You know, well, what does she have to do? She just has to drive home and come home and I got it all done. That's not fair. Guys, watch what happens here. This is critical for men to get this. I call this being first. So you step up into your masculine energy. You got it handled. She comes home and you do this in a way that it is not about an agenda. So you're not doing this to get something. Too many guys do this, that they're expecting sex or intimacy. However, watch what happens. So now she comes home and the place is clean. It looks great. And you're like, all right, babe, how was your day? What was going on? Communication, just communication. Get that going. And wow, it sounds great. And truly be interested. Actually lean into the conversation. Now, what ends up happening is she sees what you've done. It now allows her to soften a little bit because whatever edge she had is now, hey, that is really nice. And maybe no one did anything nice to her at work or what, you know, she had a bad day or whatever. So now she's got this energy. Now she's starting to soften. Now you're communicating with her and you're doing it from a place of strength. Really? Wow. Holy cow. Now, here's another thing, is that you can transition to, you know, she's sitting down, just pick up her foot, start rubbing it, start giving her. So, yeah, so that was going on. So how did you handle that? Wow, that was great. And you're not saying, hey, you're not going, hey, babe, I'm giving you a foot massage. Look at me. Look at me giving you a foot massage. Aren't I awesome? No, you're just doing it without saying anything. And she's like, oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, that's awesome. Now she's super softened. Now you're not this is not passive energy. So you're like, well, and you can start talking about your day and you start like, but not the shitty stuff, the good stuff, but start to feel the energy of owning your state and owning the environment and owning how she's starting to soften. Because now she's going to start looking at you with new eyes. So what's the difference? What's shifted is that you've taken it off of you and you focused on her without an agenda. So here's how the feminine energy works. The feminine energy is very giving. It's a giving vibration. This is why men, that when we're really in our feminine energy, we're always pacifying. We're all yes, dear, yes, dear, yes, dear, yes, dear. Now, when a woman is allowed to go into her feminine energy, good God, guys, she wants to give to her man. She wants to give to her champion. And this is where she gets to blossom. And the dream girl, your vixen, your sexual fantasy woman is right before you because she's allowed to get to that space. Now, when that happens, you did this one thing, she ends up giving you tenfold in return. That's the way she's wired because she wants her man to be this doer. and allow her to soften into this place. But too many guys are in their ego such a long time that they're, no, she's got to do it for me. She's got to fix this. No, oh man, I can't stand it. She just nags. And so it just continues on. But what ends up happening is she also sees him as a little boy. And then men wonder why they're not getting sex on a regular basis. Does any woman want to have sex with, she's just identified him as now a little boy. No, there's no sexual push-pull tension anymore. So that's what we got to create, guys. This is what we got to do with our energy and bring it back to being in that authentic masculine power. And you've got it. It's just that level of awareness. And you'll know this. If I'm being too passive right now, I'm in my feminine. Am I a yes man right now? Do I feel weak and insecure? I am in my feminine energy. Okay, I need to amp up, breathe deep. I gotta maybe go for a run, lift weights, do something before you get around her. But then start making some decisions around the house. Make some decisions. Take it off her plate. That'll help amp up your masculine energy. And she'll start to notice that. When you're in arguments, know that you're typically going to go into your feminine energy. And when a guy goes, he's so frustrated in this place that he may snap and transfer all the way over into the egoic masculine and become violent because he can't stand this energy that he's stuck in. And it just goes all the way over, and she just pushes and pushes and pushes his buttons until he snaps.
Dwayne, I'm literally like mapping my entire relationship with my wife right now. after your explanation, you really have this power. No wonder why you are being so successful with the Remarkable Mind project, Dwayne. But society is going so fast right now. I mean, we've never been in a place where changes are so intense and they're happening so rapidly. So my question is it enough for you to be surrounded by male in order to know exactly what's happening outside the male world that you are serving? And maybe like a second question after that is, how do you get this feedback from, the female side of society so that you make sure that you are actually tuning into the real world? I don't know if that makes sense, Dwayne.
Yes, and it's a great question. Oddly enough, with the work I do with men and being the coach for men, 70% of my fan base are women. And it's been that way right from the get-go. And I have always been surrounded by amazing, powerful, strong women. And that community has served me very well. My sister Karen is an amazing coach in her own right. And so she's my grounding force, my twin flame. My mom and I are very close. So I've got amazing women in my life. And I've always been with strong women as well. So it was really great for me to be able to bounce ideas off of and being able to speak to women's organizations and getting their feedback and realizing just how on point I was with my theories and my ideas and where this was going. And as much as I'm in my authentic masculine, I have an intuitive nature that is second to none. I just really believe that there is, I'm a conduit, if you will, to the universal power. And it just comes through about what needs to happen. And so being able to talk to men and saying, guys, this is what she needs. This is what she wants. If you understand this, and by no means is this about throwing my brothers under the bus. Absolutely not. This is about just us being conscious of our evolution. Now, we are in the age of the empowered woman. And this feminine vibration that I talked about earlier is now a part of the vibration on this planet. And this is why women are empowered to such a degree they are right now. You ask any 12-year-old or 15-year-old little girl what what she wants to do with her life. And it's just like, oh, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and this, and then I'm going to do this, and this, and this. And she's super pumped and excited about what's possible for her. But you ask most 12 or 15-year-old boys, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be a gamer. I don't know. I'm going to work on computers maybe. They really don't know. That level of drive for the boys is missing. And this is a product of decades of a movement, if you will, but the pendulum has swung. And so it's really important that we understand that, yes, the women's movement and femininity is really important, and what they're doing and how they're doing it. But it's also important that the boys don't get forgotten, and that men are also needing that level of support, because they're not getting the education that the women are. They're not. You go to any seminar that's on spirituality or personal growth and development or relationships, and what is it, 90% of the audience is women. So what are the guys doing? So it's really important, gentlemen, that when she's out doing her education and self-development and personal growth, it's going to add up. And the more it adds up, the more questions she's going to have. And the more purpose and passion is going to come through, because her community is all about personal growth and leveling up and getting that new level of awareness and evolution. So it's not about an us versus them mentality. What needs to happen is next level awareness for men. And so women today should never have to dumb it down or play small to be with us men. Full stop. It's up to us to level up our personal growth and self-development and awareness to be able to match her self-development and personal growth and awareness, so that we're compatible now. We're not seeing ourselves as less than, or emasculation is a thing. We have got to stand strong in our sovereignty as men, show up powerfully in our authentic masculine power, and celebrate where women are going as we celebrate where we're going.
What would you say is the most common age group that, you know, for men that you serve?
I would say it would be 30 to 55 in that range.
Okay, so it's pretty broad.
Yeah, it's pretty broad. Yeah.
Okay, so all right. So let me ask you let me throw you a curveball then. You know how much you guys play baseball in Alberta, but or in Calgary. But what's happening with teenagers? What's happening with the young man today?
And that's a great question. There is and it's probably happened about 2 decades ago, it started happening. But what's happening right now is a lot of the boys are being raised by single moms. And moms, you are rock stars. I support you and I love you to the nth degree as to what you're doing, raising boys. It's not easy. However, you also know that there's something missing that they so desperately need as well. And that is that masculine energy to be able to roughhouse and play and express themselves. The reality is boys and girls' brains are completely different. And they have to be nurtured in a different way. They can't be all lumped into the same situation. And sadly, our school systems are designed from a feminine energy standpoint. And they're designed to help up-level the education of girls. And boys are struggling in that construct. And because we're so linear thinking, this is why boys are being diagnosed with ADD, and all these initials behind them at, I think it's 5 to 2. And it's because these boys are in an environment that they need to act out. They need to express themselves physically. And this is why they're fidgety in school. And this is why they're rambunctious and chatty or distracting. And what happens is the teacher goes, "Oh, little Billy, he's a handful. We better get him on some drugs to tone him down so I can handle him." And that's happening en masse to the boys that are out there. Suicide is out of control for teenage boys. Now, a lot of girls as well are attempting suicide, but boys are more successful, if you will, at the act of suicide. So it's imperative that men, if you have a son out there, man, you've got to be his hero. You've got to be his hero. And whether you're estranged or not, whatever story you have between mom and you know, clean that up. Do whatever it takes so you can serve your son and your daughter as well. But since the question was about what's happening to teenage boys, it is so imperative that we nurture their growth. And this is why I'm so passionate about this, is because the boys need to see the example of what it means to be a champion to women, so that when they're old enough that they understand that this is how I am to be in my authentic masculine when I'm around a girl, so that her first impression of a boy in a dating capacity or at a sexual nature is a very positive one, where she feels respected, she feels understood, she feels safe. And our boys need to understand that they matter, that there's something there for them too. But right now, Angel, it's very troubling what's happening to the boys out there. And I don't know if we have the capacity of a society to fix it in the next 5 to 10 years.
Exactly. I was tempted before, going back to the adults, I was tempted before to ask you, when someone approaches you, or a male approaches you having these feelings because he's read your book or he's heard you online. You are extremely active online, by the way, so it's very easy to find you. Where is that border? Where is that split between I need to have back this, I need to be coached, or I need a counselor? Because I was listening to you and you're so, rolled your sleeves up that, I was thinking, oh my God, I mean, you could be helping entire families. Oh my God, with all your experience. So what is that place? How do you, cut this clean in this dichotomy with the people that you serve, Dwayne?
Well, I have worked in concert with counselors as well. Typically, excuse me, the reason being is that the counselor realizes that it's a much deeper dive, and the counselor's education or the way they serve is very regimented, and it's textbook. And there is also, for men in particular, there is a stigma around a man going to get counseling. Now, I highly recommend it if it's been in your wheelhouse, or if your wife or your girlfriend says, hey, I think we should get some counseling. Great. It's a wonderful step in the right direction. Now, coaching, on the other hand, is a very specific modality. And the reason I say it that way is because I am the coach for men. I spent the last 8 years of my life doing a very deep dive into all aspects of men, women, and relationships. This is my wheelhouse. And I've also been there. I also know exactly what you're going through. And so it's very difficult for men to actually reach out, to take the mask off and go, brother, I need some help here. I can't do it by myself, because we're so conditioned to wear the mask. You know, the mask of, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Well, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. Yep. It's all good. But meanwhile, he's hurting, or he's bankrupt in other areas of his life. His relationship is about to end, or he can't connect with his children anymore. Maybe his teenager's on drugs, or he doesn't know how to connect with him or her. You know, he's not sure how to level it up in his work world. So we have all these identifiers that say who we are, and to reach out means we're broken. You know, I have to admit that I'm not Superman anymore. And so my first, I guess, instruction or advice to guys is that I want you to identify with the remarkable man within. Not my version of a remarkable man, but your version. And when you envision him, that strong, on-point guy, the guy that's got it all, but maybe you were him before. Maybe you were him, you felt him, and somewhere, somehow, you just lost your way. Well, identify with this guy, and then my role is to give you the tools, the resources, and the brotherhood to help you get there. I take the 100-foot view of your life and go, this is where, get her back, no, back, there we go, because you will go off course. And the beauty of coaching is that it is a long-term process to get you to that goal. So that when you do go off course, when you do miss a few, you know, it's right back, let's go. And it is such a validating and beautiful experience to watch a man evolve in front of my eyes, a man claim his authentic masculine power, or get a phone call from his wife going, thank you so much. I got him. Oh, there's my champion. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it is a gift to be able to do what I do.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We've reached the end of our personal conversation here. Before we go to the questions and answers, I would like to actually start sharing with our audience, where can we find Dwayne Klassen? Where?
Sure. You can go to DwayneKlassen.com. And I have a special gift for all of your listeners as well, for a discovery session. So you get to try me out, if you will, and see if we're a fit to work together. And so you go to DwayneKlassen.com/coaching special. And I am actually going to give everyone that goes on there and fills out their name, you're going to get a free download of my book. Put up right. There we go. A free download of my book, The Remarkable Man. That's yours. So you just go to DwayneKlassen.com/coaching special.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's jump into the questions. No, please. Awesome. Oh my God. So many questions. What has made men in the past decades go into so much feminine energy? What is causing that shift?
That's a great question. Our pop culture, the media. Like, you can't look at any sitcom, television show, or movie that shows or depicts, or even commercials that depict men in strong, manly positions. They're the comic idiots. They're the doofuses. They're stupid. They're just brainless. And so over the decades, this is just brainwashed into our world, and the media gets onto this as well. And you start seeing shows that show empowered women, and they're unstoppable. They're beautiful, and everything they do is just well, of course. Well, why wouldn't you? And if they're in a marriage, he's usually not that attractive, and she's gorgeous. And they've got 2.3 kids, the dog. And when she goes away, goes to work or whatever, and dad is left to look after the household, well, all chaos ensues. It's just a disaster. And then mom comes home and she's got to clean it all up. She's got to be the police. And what ends up happening here, it sends a message that dad is just another one of the kids that she has to school. And it's even worse where a lot of commercials and shows show dad even more silly or stupid than the 5-year-old little girl. You know, the little precocious little girl, she's like, oh, dad, we don't do that anymore. We do this, or we use this product. So even children are seeing dad as not the authority figure. And this is constantly being bombarded into our system over the years. And over time, we start to lose that energy. And because women have had this amazing support network of get it done, girl power, unstoppable, and the message for men is you really don't matter. So, suck it up, sunshine, and take it on the chin. So it just happens over time. Excellent. And we start losing that energy. And there's just one more point to that. There is also, in the studies that I've done, a war on for testosterone. Men are losing their testosterone en masse. And it is in our food products. Men are conditioned to go, yeah, be a meat eater, be a man, eat that meat. But what's in the meat is full of estrogen. Because the cows, the pork, the chicken, it's all at the feedlots, they're just injected with just unbelievable amounts of estrogen to make them grow faster. And so we ingest that. And so men are having weight problems and man boobs and all these issues. Also in hair products, cleaning products, xenoestrogens are everywhere. And over time, it builds up and builds up. And we lose our testosterone. And when we do that, we start becoming more in our feminine energy. So there's two things that are going on constantly, and it's catching up.
Wow. So eye-opening, Dwayne. Incredible. Next question. Could this shift be related to the fear or rejection to commitment so many men have today?
Well, I think the newest category in the next few years is going to be single and happy. I think that's going to be the biggest category. And it's actually not just men. Women right now are deciding that that's it. I'm not dating, because their bar has been set so high that most of the guys that they're attracting online, they just don't measure up, because they're so weak in who they are, according to women. And men are having this challenge where, man, every woman I go on a date with, she's just like, do you have this, this, and this, and this? Are you this? And he's like, I can't measure up to that. To hell with them. I'd rather be single. And so these two camps are playing this role where I don't want to be in a relationship because what's out there is not what I'm attracted to. I'd rather hang out with my girls. I'd rather hang out with my boys. And it's just so much simpler instead of really looking at the problem. Because as much as I am educating men, I also want women to know too that when you're too far in your masculine energy, it's not serving the relationship either. Even though you're decisive, even though you're crushing it and doing amazing things and rocking, sometimes it's important to identify with what he's doing, even if it's a little bit, to help support him in amping that up. If he's doing some level of improvement, appreciate that, because we're not getting the education that women are getting. And trust that your beloved isn't. He's not getting that. And so any micro improvement in how he shows up, celebrate it. Let him have that. Know that your education is far more than what his is in regards to relationships and personal growth. So ladies, it's important that you recognize, soften that up and allow yourself to drop into your feminine energy a little bit sooner than you normally would. Now, I get that he's got to deserve it too. You just don't give that up just like that. No, he's got to deserve it. But see those signs that, hey, you know what? He is trying. He is giving it a shot here. So I hope that answered the question.
Oh, absolutely. Another question. This is a long one. In an heterosexual relationship, the increase of masculine energy in the woman, is it directly proportional to the decrease of the same energy in the man? And there's a follow-up question here from the same person. Can we say that there is only a certain amount of feminine and masculine energies within the two, and we are just sharing it?
That is a great question. That is an awesome question, and there is some truth to that. There is some truth to that. But let's look at masculine and feminine energy. And a lot of people think too that what we're striving for is balance. If we can balance our masculine and feminine energy, it would be a perfect world. No, it wouldn't. No. Humanity is not ready for 50-50 balance. The reason being is that there would be no push-pull sexual polarity. That attraction wouldn't be there. Now, you could look at the Tao symbol, the yin-yang, and everyone thinks, oh, there it is, that black and white, balance. That's the perfect symbol for that being in balance. It's not. If you were to draw a line straight down the center of the Tao symbol, it's actually the ratio I was talking about. 30% of the masculine bulbs out into the feminine, and 30% of the feminine bulbs out into the masculine. So in a sexual energy situation, now, obviously, sexual chemistry is unique to each couple. So I'm trusting that you are having very frank and candid conversations about your fantasies and what works for you sexually. So when a man is in his masculine energy and she's able to be in her feminine, now when she's in her feminine energy sexually, this does not mean she is passive. She's just like, that typical role where in romance novels where he's the dominant and she's the submissive. When she's in her feminine energy, that submissive energy is strong. It's a very strong submissive energy, but she can only get there when he's in his masculine, owns it, his authentic masculine, owns it, because it allows her to be able to be expressive sexually. Because if he's too passive in his feminine energy and she's in her masculine, it can get weird really quickly, where she cannot be fully expressive. And I know that when couples get together and they talk about their fantasies, men will default to typically three fantasies. That's it. And on the grand scheme of things, they're pretty safe fantasies, if you will. But you ask a woman what her fantasies are, and good Lord, guys, you better buckle up. And you got to be strong in who you are. You got to be strong in who you are, because her fantasies may not involve you. And may not involve, well, I won't go there, but the reality is that she can only share those with a strong energy, because it's vulnerability at another level. And this is where that safety comes in, because if she shares and he goes, oh, that, I don't, and now he looks at her differently, now he thinks of her differently, and now she's a freak, or I don't know if I could ever handle that, because he was never owning his sexual energy. When a man is in his authentic masculine power, he can handle anything. And she can express herself freely in any direction in a sexual union. And this is where that push-pull comes from, where she can express and do all these, and he's still solid. So I think it's really important that guys in sex, in a sexual act, that they're in their authentic masculine, so she can be in her feminine, and that dance happens. Now, obviously, there are couples that enjoy that submissive BDSM and whatnot. For that to happen, that's a discussion, right? that where she is the dominant, but it's not always the case. I mean, I've talked to people that enjoy that lifestyle, but she actually does not like being the dominant. It's just a role that she plays, and she wishes he was the dominant. So again, it's a frank and honest discussion about what works and what doesn't. And if he's freaking out, he's not owning his authentic masculine power. And guys, if you're listening, you've got to be in that space so that you can offer that place of trust, that she can just be that feminine energy that she longs to be. And you be that guy that wins this woman, that is able to express herself to such a degree that no man has ever done before. And wow, what an energy that you get to have in your relationship.
Excellent. Thank you. Next question. What makes men be so intimidated nowadays when they find an independent woman?
I love that term, independent woman, because it's one of these things where we're all independent. The reality is we're all independent. It's just varying degrees of. But what's happening, though, is it threatens his masculinity. Excuse me. In my coaching, I have this term, and it's called front-loading your personality. And men do this. So the strong, empowered, independent woman is wanting to date, and she meets her guy. And on his profile, he is all, he's got the goods. Something that an independent woman goes, damn, I would love to go on a date with this guy. So they get together. So an independent woman typically she doesn't have to front load who she is. That's how she is. She just shows up as a strong, independent woman. So he shows up as a strong, independent man to match her vibration. And to the point where she goes, damn, I think I found the one. And so now they get together, but because he front loaded his personality, it's not sustainable. And over time, she starts to see the chinks in his armor, or the BS, or the story that he came up with. And it's really disappointing for a lot of women because it's unsustainable. So this is why I say that guys need to amp up their energy and awareness to not only be with an independent woman, but to be an independent guy and not rely on anything outside of himself for who he needs to be. When he's there, he can stand in the fire of her energy and go, yeah, babe, bring it on. This is good. What else you got? And be okay with him. And it's not predicated on how she treats him. So, and I know a lot of women are going through this, and a lot of guys are frustrated because what the hell does she need me for? And that's sort of a dovetails into the next part, is that men feel that they're losing their sense of utility in relationships. Because men want to have purpose. Men want to be able to serve their beloved in a way that makes them feel like a man. I'll change the oil in your car, babe, and then she'll shut. No, I'm taking him to the garage tomorrow. Boom, shuts him down. And okay, let's go out for dinner. There's a beautiful restaurant I'd like to take you to. It's the La Cherie or whatever it is. And she goes, no, I hate that restaurant. I heard it had bad reviews. We're going to go here instead. Boom, takes him out of his power. So these are also what are called tests. And strong, empowered women test. And most guys fail because he'll go, okay. Instead of going, no, damn it, honey, I am changing your oil. I'm getting my rags on. I am going out there and I'm changing your oil. No, I know you want, no, it's going to be done. I'll have it done in 20 minutes. Done. Or, no, we're going to that restaurant tomorrow, babe. It's happening. It's on. I heard some great reviews. I actually Googled it, and man, it's awesome. I don't know where you heard your stuff, but it's going to be great. And I know there's that dish you like. They make it there. Yeah, they do. So we're going. And I want you to wear that black dress and those heels and turn away and walk away. You're done. You're done. And you do it with a smile. And that's how you pass her tests. You just keep whatever she comes up with. You just because quite frankly, Angel, every woman wants to be taken out, wants to wear the little black dress, wants to wear those sexy heels. She wants to feel like this queen for a night. But so many guys cower and fail her tests. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
It must be so much fun to be coached by you, Dwayne. Oh my God. Thank you. Let me ask you this question. Advice to adult woman. Oh, that's a good one. Get ready, Dwayne. Advice to adult woman in the dating world. How to deal with this new phenomenon?
The new phenomenon.
I mean, the man phenomenon.
Okay. Well, it's on almost an anecdotal question. I have allergies, so you have to forgive me my coffee.
Absolutely.
Drink water here.
Of course.
As a woman doing the dating today, I would just be really, really patient. And he's out there. He really is. And I coach amazing, remarkable men. I work with amazing, remarkable men. And I know men that are outside of my wheelhouse that are truly remarkable. So he's out there. But it's just you being very specific about what it is you want and what is it you're looking for, and being honest with that. That if he comes along, then great. But if he doesn't, just be okay just being single. And I know that's contrary to your question, but the happier you are with you, and that's so important. The happier you are with you, the more that translates into a great encounter with a new possibility. But if you become jaded over time because no one's showing up into this container that you're looking for, it's going to be really frustrating. And then you'll end up clouding the next date with the same energy as the previous ones. So give him an opportunity to show up, but be specific in what you're looking for. You know, if it's money or, you know, a career, or like he's focused and has a purpose and a passion, that should be the first thing. Does he have purpose? Not that he just has a job. You want a man with purpose, because he doesn't not necessarily have to be there already, but as long as he has a purpose, that's something that you can attach your star to. And women actually love a man with purpose, because if he's just doing the grind and every time, oh, it's the same thing, it's going to get old over time. But if he wakes up every morning, I got to get this done. I am on point with this. Oh, I'm so excited. And that's something you can support him in. Babe, I know you had a tough day, but I believe in you. I know you can do this. And now you're a team. You know, you're a supportive mechanism. So in your discovery session in regards to your first date, a coffee date or going out, you know, ask him, what are you passionate about? What are you truly passionate about? And that should give you an indication of where he's at and where he's going. And also, is he about self-development and personal growth? Is he wanting to learn and grow and be a better man? I think every woman should be after a man that's evolving. He's out there. And all you guys, it's a great question for you too, because it'll allow you to understand that this is the set point that women are going for. So do you have purpose? Do you have a passion for your life? And if you don't, make it your all-consuming energy to find it. It's imperative, guys. And when you do, man, you can just feel that energy. And when you do meet the woman that's asking this question, then you can tell her, damn it, this is what I'm passionate about. I am so excited about this, and I'm learning this, this, and this, and this. Yeah. Well, now she's leaning in. Oh, man, I think I found my tagger. Oh, this is good. So
excellent. Great pieces of advice. That's going to be the last one. Okay, so that comes from a woman, and she's saying, and could you give me an advice for women to balance their energy after being in masculine mode all day out working? How to go back to being just a girl when they go back home?
And that's an awesome question. Have a bath, girls. Draw yourself a bath. And when you come in, if he's there or you live by yourself, it doesn't matter. Set up a ritual. In fact, set up a container, a space between home and family engagement, so that both of you understand that there's a buffer zone, that you get to dump the energy from out there, and he does too, so that the energy that's in the home is sacred. It's the energy that you co-create. So you have to come up with a ritual and identify with that ritual that's going to help you be in your feminine energy. And for a lot of women that I know, it's just coming home, drawing a nice warm bath. And guys, if you understand the ritual, draw it for her before she comes home. Draw it for her. And that, boom, you've now been decisive and you took action. And now she's before she even gets upstairs, she's in her feminine energy because you took that on. So you create these buffer zones that I must dump this energy that's not serving me or the relationship. And you're going to have to figure out what that is, because it's going to be unique to you. It might be just a change of clothes that makes you feel feminine. You know, what is that? Is it a beautiful sundress and nothing else? Is it, you know, again, you're going to know what that is. So create a ritual. And it might be 10 minutes, maybe half an hour. And then after that ritual, you engage into the rest of the family in the house, so they get all of who you are. And the same with the guys. When you're coming home and you're not feeling, you know you're with an empowered woman, and you know she's in her masculine, and you know you need to be in your authentic masculine. What's your ritual? Do you need to install a heavy bag downstairs? You know, and just get your physicality moving. Maybe you have to stop at the gym on the way home and have a really good workout. Maybe if you have a garage where you tinker, you know, do some tinkering, do whatever it takes to get into that. So again, it comes down to rituals. Create a buffer zone between the two of you to make sure that you're in the energies that both serve you and the relationship.
Excellent. Well, Dwayne, it's been an amazing interview today. We have to, in the name of Mindalia TV's audience, I have to thank you for your passion, for being able to explain in such a simple way what's happening today in our society. You just have to go out, during the weekends or at night and go to those restaurants and clubs to realize what's going on. I'm really impressed. Really, I'm really, really impressed. I'm extremely grateful for being able to ask you those questions, and for you to be so humble and generous to share those with us. Really, thank you.
Thank you, Angel. It's been a real pleasure to be on the show and share with your audience, and I'm truly grateful myself.
Thank you. One last time, would you mind repeating again, where can our audience find you, Dwayne?
Yep. Go to DwayneKlassen.com/coaching special. That's DwayneKlassen.com/coaching special. And also, you can also go to theremarkablemanshow.com. I have a podcast where I interview some of the most remarkable men and women around the world. And Angel was one of them. He's been on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. It's been a blessing and a pleasure to have you, Dwayne. And yet again, this is Angel Ribo with Mindalia TV. And thank you very much for being with us today. See you soon. Bye-bye.